Hello, welcome to this update. So let's see what what's happening this severe weather these next few days, and plus the heavy rain and some winter storm stuff we still have to deal with. So now I do have this flood watches, many areas from Texas and all the way to Ohio, some wind advisories in the plains, red flag warnings, and some high wind warnings, New Mexico and Colorado, spots of western Texas too, and some red flag warnings there as well, all the way to Arizona. Have these winter storm warnings in North Dakota, South Dakota, spots of Minnesota, and Wisconsin for this storm coming. I'll show you in a second. And then some winter weather advisories in the Rockies, some winter storm warnings in Montana and California still. So here for today they did upgrade this to an enhanced risk for April 1st, today, Tuesday, and there's this bigger slight risk from Texas to Iowa, and this marginal risk from Texas and all the way to southern Wisconsin. So there's this small marginal in California valleys as well. And then the tornado threat is now 10% and a larger area of 10% from Oklahoma, Kansas, and spots of, basically there. And the 5% Texas, all the way to northern Missouri, and the 2% from Texas to Iowa. So please be careful there. The possibility of some strong tornadoes, spots of the central southern plains, especially later this afternoon, this evening. There's even a 2% in California, so be aware there as well. You never know. There's wind 5% there in California and 30% in Kansas and Missouri, and hatched for potential hurricane force winds as well. Those storms some 5% and 15% around it. So be aware, there's hail to this big area of 30%, Oklahoma and Kansas mainly, and this hatched area for potentially very large hail, 2-inch plus from Texas to northern Kansas, and the 5% that goes from Texas to Wisconsin. So please be careful, some big hail possibly. So rapid, intense thunderstorm development should occur this evening over parts central southern plains. A few supercells with a risk for very large hail and strong tornadoes appear possible. So please be careful, particularly across north central Oklahoma into eastern Kansas. A line of thunderstorms should also develop and pose a threat for severe damaging winds across eastern Kansas into western Missouri tonight. So please be careful. Some intense, very intense storms there. So be careful. You can read here if you want. And they do mention California there with cold air aloft, associate the upper trough over the western conus. Weak instability should develop by peak afternoon heat and support isolated strong thunderstorms. This could pose a risk for small hail, gusty winds, perhaps a brief tornado or two, across parts of Central Valley in California. So be aware as well, but please warn others there in the plains, especially Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri, spots of Texas. This will be very strong. So be careful, but it's not over yet. Tomorrow is the bigger day. So on April 2nd, tomorrow there's this marginal risk that goes from Texas to Michigan. This light risk, same thing. And the enhanced risk from Texas to Michigan as well, like for parts of Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, most of Arkansas and Missouri, and other spots in northern Louisiana. So please be careful. Starting with hail, there's this big 30% spots of Texas and not all the way to Indiana. And this hatched area for potential very large hail, and the 15 and the 5% too. So please be careful. There's the wind threat also, this 30% and big hatched area from Arkansas to Michigan. And the 5% goes all the way from Texas to Canada. So please be careful, especially in the 30%. And the tornadoes 2%, 5%, and 10%, especially the 10%. Be careful from Texas to Ohio. So please stay safe in the hatched, potential some strong tornadoes. So numerous severe thunderstorms possible Wednesday and Wednesday night across the lower Great Lakes and Mississippi Valley, and the Arctic severe and gust, large hail, and strong tornadoes are possible. So please be careful, stay safe. here, let's see if there's something else important, because they did mention yesterday and earlier today possible the next few outlooks, maybe a moderate risk or something. They did mention, but I don't know if there's here. But please be careful. Let's just see this abroad. Mid-level trough and powerful 100 knot plus jet streak will move northeastward across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes region Wednesday. Strong ascent from the advancing upper trough and primary shortwave impulse will support a deep surface low moving from the northern plains into the western Great Lakes. A warm front will rapidly lift north through the morning and early afternoon across parts of eastern Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois and Indiana. 60 Fahrenheit surface dew points appear likely to reach southern lower Michigan by the afternoon. A cold front attended to the deep surface cyclone sweep eastward with widespread strong to severe storms expected ongoing ahead of the front at daybreak. So please stay safe. And here, so here they do mention higher severe probabilities for damaging winds and possibly tornadoes may be needed in future outlooks as confidence for warm frontal position and convection evolution are further resolved. So please stay safe. You can decide tomorrow, and there's the severe weather today as well. But have a plan in place. Some uh, places you could go in case of tornadoes, and so please stay safe and find some radios, good ways to receive warnings, and just do what you can to stay safe. You know how damaging these severe storms can be, so please be careful. There's day 3 still for April 3rd, Thursday, shows a marginal risk. It goes all the way from Texas to New Jersey, and a slight risk from Texas to Pennsylvania. So please be aware too. There's the 15 and 5%, and broader strong severe storms expected along frontal zone from the Arctic, mid Mississippi Valley, Ohio, Tennessee valleys, the Mid Atlantic, damaging gusts and hail. The primary risks, though a few tornadoes are possible. So be careful Thursday too. And Friday, guess what? We will still have severe weather for Friday, day 4. So 15% from Texas to Kentucky. This would be a slight risk. So please be aware. And let's see, for Saturday, there's still a 15% for Saturday too. So day 5 already is light risk. So this just doesn't stop. Like endless severe storms. So this goes from Texas to Kentucky as well. Spots of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. More spots there. And day 6 finally stops. But yeah, we'll keep watching for future systems too. But stay safe. Be careful. In terms of fire danger, still critical today and tomorrow, because big area from Arizona to Kansas, a big area, and don't burn anything. Be careful. There's a critical still for Wednesday, tomorrow, Texas and New Mexico, and a big area, the elevated. So please be careful. So severe weather is one thing, but excessive rainfall is another, and this one might be dangerous as well. It will be dangerous. So there's the marginal risk today from Oklahoma to Iowa, so be aware. Tomorrow there's the moderate risk array of excessive rainfall in Arkansas, Missouri, spots of Kentucky, and in Tennessee, spots of Indiana too. The margin, the slight risk around it, so be careful. At least 40% chance of exceeding flash flood guidance. So stay safe from flooding, don't drive through floods, pay attention to flash flood warnings, and stay safe. There's day 3, still a moderate, so 2 moderates in a row, from practically the same region, from Arkansas to southern Ohio, and especially Kentucky and Tennessee, southern Illinois, Indiana. And the slight risk might be dangerous too, from Texas to Ohio. So please be careful. And there's day 4, still a moderate, so 3 moderates in a row, but this one slightly further south, like Oklahoma, northeastern Texas, spots of Arkansas and Missouri, and a slight risk kind of marginal around it. So please stay safe. And the more it rains, the more saturated the ground will be, causing more flooding. So please be careful. And day 5 is, guess what? Another moderate. So like 4 moderates in a row, from Arkansas to Indiana, spots of Kentucky again, Tennessee, and Missouri to northernmost Mississippi, southern Illinois. So please stay safe. There'll be like multiple rounds of heavy rain this week. The winter storm, like, already shows day 1 today in spots of North Dakota, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, even Wisconsin as spotted two, and those higher probabilities in the Rockies, in Montana and Colorado, even Utah, California, some higher probabilities. Day 2, there Minnesota into Ontario, and still in spots of the Rockies there, especially Montana. Day 3 shows a finger 2 in the Rockies. Day 4, maybe further south in New Mexico and Colorado. Day 5 still shows there. Day 6, nothing, just in eastern Canada there. And day 7, finger 2 in the Cascades. But be careful. There's the possible precipitation. This is today until Wednesday afternoon. Shows some more in Central Valley in California, the mountains, more in the plains from those severe storms. Close to like some 2.5 inches, spots of California, and close to 2 inches, 1 inch or something the plains. There's day 2, already jumps up to 4.5 inches in spots of Kentucky, and there's like 3 inches or something that's dark already, close to 4 inches, and some widespread 2 to 3 inches in those areas. There's day 3, still this big area of 4 inches through Tennessee and Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, spots of Arkansas. So please be careful. Day 4, this is so crazy. So this is Saturday to Sunday. Shows like a big area of 5 inches through spots of Arkansas, Missouri, and another area of 4 inches around it to Illinois, Indiana, and Oklahoma too. So this plus day 5 it's better, comes down to like 2 inches. Day 6, 1 inch and something. Day 7, 1 2 inches goes away. But day 1 through 7 simply crazy. Like that yellow is 10 inches those areas next 7 days. So enormous flood threat. Please be careful. Stay safe from flooding, both severe weather and flooding. Both are very dangerous. So stay safe. Here there's like some talk about the winter storm. So another late season winter storm strengthening storm season central plains today will spread damaging winds across the southern Rockies and high plains before producing a wide swath of heavy snow from the northern plains to the upper Midwest. Heavy and wet snowfall likely. Light snow starts this morning across northern plains, will become crystal heavy this evening through Wednesday in the eastern Dakotas, Minnesota airhead. Over 8 inches of heavy wet snow is likely, with a foot possible in the hardest hit locations. A few locations may be near daily or monthly April snow records. An icy winter mix possible across the Great Lakes, parts of the upper Midwest, and northern Great Lakes see a period of snow turning to a mix of sleet and freezing rain Wednesday. This may result in hazardous travel conditions with Michigan most north at risk for additional tree damage and power outages. Additionally, a winter mix will impact portions of the interior northeast and northern New England Wednesday to Thursday. So some freezing rain there is forecasted on the northeast, some on the northern Midwest, and the snow, especially in Minnesota, some spots there. So stay safe. Please be careful. There's like here for this 48 hour snow as well, shows as spots of Minnesota and those areas close to those darker purples, 10 to 12 inches, spots in northeasternmost Minnesota, even like to 15 inches, 12, yeah, around 13 inches or something. But be careful in the mountains in California, even like to 25 inches or 30 in the highest peaks. In Montana, the same thing in the highest peaks, was somewhere around it's 5 to 12 inches the highest parts. Colorado, even in Utah, some areas to 8 inches in the mountains, and more in Nevada too. So be aware. There's the ice next 24 hours. Shows some starting South Dakota close to 1/4 of an inch, or yeah, more spots near 1/10 of an inch in Wisconsin. So be careful those areas. And later, tomorrow, later might spread the northeast, like I showed you. So be careful. Still shows those 90s in southern Texas. Some A is today across the south in Florida too, and some 20s, 30s the Rockies still colder, and some 30s far east and northeast. But tonight some 70s in the south still, but some very cold temperatures in the highest parts of the rock, especially Utah and Colorado, close to like -1 0 Fahrenheit in those dark purples in the mountains. And outside of that, some 20s and 30s in the lower elevations and some teens. But in California as well, very cold as Sierra Nevada, and some 30s northern plains, some teens in the northeast as well. So stay safe. There's day two shows like still some 90s southern Texas and Florida. And some A is more in the south, southeast, and some 70s. So be aware. And some 30s northern plains, and still some 20s in the mountains there and things. So be aware. There's for Thursday morning shows still some teens, 20s, and single digits in the Rockies, and even some lower elevations close to 50, but some areas in the 20s, some 40s in California, and still some 60s, 70s the southeast, some 20s the northeast, some 30s. So be aware. Thursday afternoon, still warm in the south, some 90s in southern Texas, and some 80s in Florida, even close to 90, and even like Georgia close to 90, and spots some 70s as far north as New York State, and more areas there. Still cold, some 20s, 30s in the high elevations. It still shows Friday morning some 20s and 30s the northern plains, and some single digits in the Rockies, some 20s and teens, and yeah, and still some 30s, 40s northeast, and warmer in the south. There's Friday afternoon, some 90s in the south, southeast, and some May is all the way to Virginia. Some 90s in Texas, even close to 100 near Mexico there, like some 95 or something. But this shows some 70s in the southwest as well, and still some 20s in the Rockies. In some parts of the Rockies, there's Saturday morning, shows still warmer in the south, but during the night some 20s things the northern plains and the Rockies there, and some single digits. There's day 5 still shows some 90s in the southeast, uh, and some May is there likely be this high pressure there or something causing this small heat bubble, because the rest of the country is milder, the plains are still colder, and spots of the northeast some 40s. So there's kind of this heat bubble there. But that shows some 30s, 20s in the Rockies still. In the west, it's kind of warmer too, some 70s on the west coast, and A is further south. But the minimum temperatures still some teens in the high plains, some 20s, 30s, and single digits there in the Rockies, and warmer some 60s in the southeast for Sunday morning. And Sunday afternoon, this is still warmer. There's some 90s in Florida, some 80s, and not there, some 50s, 40s in the plains, some 60s, warmer in the west, some 50s, 60s, even some 80s in southern Arizona, but still those colder areas in the Rockies. And there's like day 6 minimum shows this big contrast at night that goes down even to 15 Fahrenheit, and some 20s, 30s in the plains and Midwest, and single digits in the Rockies. So yeah, and day 7 max is still warmer on the west and on the southeast. Some is in Florida 90s. So yeah, be aware. There's here the wind gusts today on April 1st shows in the high plains, Colorado, a few spots those higher gusts, and maybe a mountain or two in Southern California, and some spots there. So stay safe. There's here like uh, the pressure shows this low pressure coming into the plains there and the Midwest. That's severe weather and everything. This goes and after shows some higher pressures along the northwest and still lower near Mexico, some spots there, but does show this high pressure in the Atlantic near the southeast that might be causing those above average temperatures, and yeah, but not so much over there, but nearby, and later we'll keep watching. So be aware. There's the her here for the severe weather today. So first for the tornadoes, shows like so that's Wednesday. That's very high. But here, let's start today. So this is this afternoon, or it's still around noon or something. Shows later in the afternoon spots of Texas and Oklahoma, some slight parameters in Oklahoma, and then later in the evening, does spike up a lot. So in a 3 hour difference, went from almost nothing to all of this. That's very crazy. But, but they'll show like later this evening because the storms will fire like the evening into tonight, so it won't be so much in the afternoon, but does show spots of Oklahoma, some very high values, close to like 5.5 or something, even close to 6 there, and some more parameters in Texas too, but really be careful in Oklahoma, those tornadoes there. And later in the evening, kind of into the night already, shows like some very high parameters, very close to 7 spots of Texas and Oklahoma. So be careful, those tornadoes. That's a big indication there. It might be dangerous. So it even shows like during the night in Oklahoma into tomorrow morning, it's very high parameters, close to like 8.5 or something. So please just stay safe. And this might change still, this is not certain. And this always changes. Sometimes it can show some weird things, but just keep in mind and stay safe. But later in the morning does decrease, and around noon tomorrow, still some parameters there that should be monitored closely, but nothing as extreme as like it showed during the night. And again, by Wednesday afternoon, shows more parameters in the Midwest, some higher trend parameters there, and some in Texas and Louisiana. But this is not showing as high as it showed for this evening, but tomorrow evening, not like late afternoon Wednesday, shows some higher parameters in Louisiana and Texas, spots of Kentucky too, and Indiana, all the way to Michigan. So be aware, especially later Wednesday, tomorrow, around the evening, shows still in Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, some high parameters, and Indiana, those areas. So stay safe, those tornadoes have plenty of ways to receive warnings, and later into Thursday morning starts diminishing, but still some parameters around. So be careful. Let's see the Cape for this evening there in Texas and Oklahoma. So does show a lot of Cape spots of Texas, but that's like too far south. The storms will be around like Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. In those areas, shows like 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram, especially southern Oklahoma, close to 3,000. And later, still shows northern Texas, more than 3,000 joules per kilogram, and still like later this like literally in the middle of the night, and the Earth shows like 3,500 joules per kilogram, and some areas there. So be careful and have some ways to receive warnings during the night to some radios and everything. So be careful, and still shows like that purple is close to 4,000 joules per kilogram tomorrow morning, Wednesday. So please be aware. This usually doesn't happen like this during the night because there's no sun and everything. But since the her is showing this, it's worth showing you. So please just be aware, but know that it can change as well. And this the updraft calicity tracks indicates like severe wind and hail. Those storms does show this evening to tomorrow morning shows a very crazy track in Texas and into Oklahoma, so be careful. Some tornadoes there, wind and large hail in Kansas through into Missouri, and does show Wednesday tomorrow in Arkansas, all the way to Kentucky, more spots there. So please be aware. There's some other types of cape. The most unstable cape shows like this evening spots Texas, Oklahoma, and even Kansas close to 3,000 joules per kilogram. The most unstable cape. There's the surface-based cape as well. Shows like a little bit less, but does shows some in Oklahoma, more in Texas. But there's the mixed layer one for tomorrow, especially later tomorrow. Shows some cape around like the south, but as far north as Indiana. This is around late afternoon, but in the evening, does show more around the Arctic, more spots there. In Tennessee as well, closer to even more than 2,000 joules per kilogram. But later in the evening, still shows around the south more. But if we go a little bit earlier, show like some as far north as Michigan, some 1,000 joules per kilogram. So stay safe. But the model itself, the HER, it does have some supercells in Oklahoma later this evening, this afternoon, there into Kansas, as you can see here. So shows like this goes into Missouri, so you can see there in Kansas later this evening, and then later doesn't have much during the night. The HER has actually the line of storms firing tomorrow morning there in Texas, Oklahoma, and eventually into Arkansas and Missouri, and does have those storms tomorrow there, and this goes later the severe weather tomorrow afternoon. So please stay safe. There's the European shows the winter storm there, the snow, plus the storms this evening into tomorrow. So this year's around Wednesday afternoon. So this goes, and still a few storms Thursday, Friday, and the next event Saturday there, the European shows, and the snow in the high plains. And this might change still. So just be aware and monitor the situation as it happens to see the current updates. So stay safe. And here there's the SEEPs as well, the Coral State University. So the Coral State University does have some similar tornado probabilities as the Storm Prediction Center, some 10% there as well. It even has a small red there in the middle, that's hard to see, but it does show the hail and the wind, so some 30% too. And be aware, and does have the small 2% in California. But there's day 2 here for Wednesday, and the SIPS is going all the way in with this. It's showing a big area of 15% from Texas to Michigan, and a small area of 30% as well in Arkansas and Tennessee, and it's showing this hatched area for significant tornadoes. So this model is very onto it. There's the hail too, and the wind shows especially some bigger, some stronger winds further north, but does show even like a 45%. There's the SIPs for tornado, and it doesn't show specific probability of tornado. It does show some but that's too low. Let's not see so much the SIPs, but it does have hail, 5, 10, 15%, and more. But yeah, be aware. There's day 3, still has probability of severe weather, some 15 to 30%, and still for Saturday, for Friday and Saturday. So this is Friday, still has probability there, but for Saturday the SIPS is already for 45% chance of severe weather, and after this is kind of quiet, so that's good. But yeah, please be careful. Those storms tomorrow, take this seriously. starting this evening and not the way until Thursday morning. Please take this seriously. And even after that, Friday, Saturday, there'll still be those storms there, and Thursday. And here there's this trough coming in, and the show. This is Wednesday. Tomorrow shows it kind of entering the plains, and later there's like Thursday. The GFS and stronger winds aloft there in the Midwest. The low pressure, just like a very wide trough. So please be careful the severe weather this will cause and everything. Now we can remove this and check some snow and some winds. So there show those winds there, especially uh, the plains there today in New Mexico, even like close to 66 mile per gust, 63, 51, Oklahoma, Kansas, too, some more winds, Texas, even California, northern Mexico, some winds too. So be aware in those areas. And this goes like those storms have some very damaging winds, of course, but it doesn't show up here on this map. Shows only the wind gusts by themselves. So this show Wednesday still some stronger winds along with this front and everything, even the Appalachians. So this goes and does grow a lot, like a big portion of Indiana, Missouri, Illinois, some higher gusts, and Michigan as well, the Great Lakes. So this goes still shows kind of on the east, and Thursday Midwest, some spots stronger there. This goes and goes away there, but be careful. Friday, Saturday, still the system. Saturdays some stronger gusts in the plains in a few spots, and after that is kind of far. But stay safe. Be aware. There's the icon show, especially later this evening. The icon's very insane at those gusts in New Mexico, even like 77 mile per gust. There's a lot in Arizona, and Kansas, Oklahoma too. Let's see the her for comparison doesn't have as extreme. Doesn't have some 67 mile per gust later this evening. Spots of Arizona too, some high ones in Colorado, spots of Southern California as well. So this goes there, and then the show tonight into Wednesday, spots of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, still Southern California, some winds, but more spots there. This goes and shows tomorrow, Wednesday, those higher gusts there throughout Midwest, Mid South, in those areas because of this storm system. So please stay safe. There's the rain accumulation from the her until Thursday here. So let's just switch this. The her until Thursday has even to 7 inches in Arkansas, 6 inches as in Kentucky, some 4 to even 5 inches, 4.72, and does have some more Michigan, some 2 inches, Illinois, some more spots there. It even has some, like a lot in southern Canada as well. But please be careful in those areas. There's the European until Thursday, a little bit less because it's not as high resolution, but the European until Sunday shows like upwards of 9 inches, spots in Arkansas to 13 inches, and does have in Texas to 5 inches or higher in Indiana, 7, 8 inches. So please stay safe. The GFS, like, it's even crazier, all the way to 16 inches in Kentucky, in Arkansas and Missouri next 5 days. So there's a tremendous flood threat. Please stay safe. There's the icon 7 inches to 13 inches, some 6 inches, even as far north as New York, some 5 inches, 4 inches, Oklahoma. So stay safe, please, and be careful. There's like here for snow too. So shows like spots the Rockies 5 days, even in New Mexico some for 13 inches, 14 inches of snow, spots in Montana, in the mountains even to 21 inches, in California too. This might be higher with high resolution models, but that's even like 27 inches, shows some more in the Cascades as well, but especially in Minnesota like 18 inches, 19 inches, some 18, and 12 inches, 10 inches. So be careful that snow. There's like, I think that model was the icon. Sorry if I said European, but now there's the European. Shows some 14 inches, 11 inches, 10, 9 inches. The GFS does have some 19 inches, even to 20 inches, the GFS. And some more spots like 9 inches, 8 inches, and some on the west as well. So stay safe those areas, and the Euro does have some on the west in California, especially more spots there. But stay safe. There's the her here too, but it only goes out until Thursday. But just until Thursday, the her has some outings to 27 inches in California, and more spots there in Montana. And this is, yeah, I already showed you the her, because before I showed you and I thought it was the European. But here, so there's the icon now, a different model. It does a 19 inches in Minnesota. There's another spots to 17 inches, 60 inches, and this carried snow in the high elevations there. So stay safe. There's here now, this is the name, yeah, because there's so many models here that it gets kind of crazy. That's the name, not the icon. But here, there's the icon now. Shows some 14 inches in Minnesota, some 9 inches, and more across the west as well. But now switching to Canada here, shows spots of Ontario until like Sunday. In the next 5 days, some 37 centimeters, 13 centimeters, 14 spots of Quebec, 31 centimeters, and some in Labrador, especially on the coast, to 41 centimeters or 42. So be aware there too. So some snow in Nova Scotia, 7, 21 centimeters, and 7.5, 13. So be aware of that snow. And some lighter snow for Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Nunavut, some 10 centimeters. Shows in British Columbia and Alberta some 17 centimeters, 16. So there'll be snow there too. And Yukon shows some in Northwestern Territories. So be careful. There's the GFS too. It does have some more in Ontario, and some spots there. So stay safe. There's here, like in Alaska, there'll be some season like southern Alaska, more snow in the mountains, even to 50 inches, and some more spots central, western Alaska. So yeah, stay safe. The European does have more throughout Alaska too. And yeah, there's like the wind gusts here, so already shows in spots of Quebec, slightly breezier, Nova Scotia. So this coast that shows some stronger winds, spots of Atlantic Canada tomorrow morning, Wednesday, and this goes because of this enormous North Atlantic low pressure system near Labrador later tomorrow, Wednesday. So shows some winds as high as 108, even to like 123 km per gust. Spots of Newfoundland and Northern Nova Scotia too, and southern Ontario and the Great Lakes slightly higher. This goes, and it is just like a massive system near Labrador, even like to 135 km per gust. That there are some towns there like to 107, some more areas 90 to 100 km per gust. So stay safe there. And if you have wind this strong plus some snow at the same time, be careful blizzard conditions, some spots there. And this goes, and at the same time, uh, there'll likely be some more ice in Ontario, some snow in Ontario Wednesday to Thursday. Be careful of the freezing rain, and maybe storms in southern Ontario, because the marginal risk in the US technically extends all the way up to Canada. So especially southernmost Ontario, you might be in the slight risk too. So be careful, some damaging winds, maybe some hail too, or a tornado or two. So be aware, southernmost Ontario. With that, just north of that, some freezing rain in Quebec Thursday. So be aware Thursday. Even New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, some ice and snow and some rain to Newfoundland by Saturday. And the show this next system like more snow in Quebec and Labrador Sunday the 6th into Monday the 7th, and some ice too. And yeah, so be aware. These systems shows in Alaska and Yukon there, that snow in British Columbia, spots of Alberta and Saskatchewan, Wednesday, Thursday, and then that in Ontario and some in Nunavut, Thursday from Manitoba. So beware that show like on April 6th on the Pacific in British Columbia, especially Alaska and Yukon, some more snow on April 7th, still some, and more systems there later. So stay safe in those areas. There's the wind on the west, spots of central Alaska, maybe, and like the middle of the night, tonight, northern Alaska, a few spots. But this goes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe the coast of southern Alaska, because those Pacific cyclones, and yeah, maybe on occasional stronger gust or two in Yukon on the 7th, and Nunavut on April 7th. But we'll keep watching. So stay safe, be careful. Plus some cold temperatures still, especially northernmost Canada. So still shows in Nunavut spots there's some minus 20s, spots of still painter negative temperatures for western Canada. A few spots better, but that's showing the morning like in Nunavut minus 32, more spots in Quebec. In the south still some negative temperatures. Northern Alaska too, very cold, but this goes in the afternoon. Does warm up some, especially on the west, slightly warmer but still cold, and this goes Thursday morning, northern Quebec, and the northernmost areas there. The south in Ontario slightly warmer, but still some cold on the east. This goes Thursday and Friday. This show northern Quebec, Nunavut a little bit better, but still cold, and it is negative temperatures along the west still. But then this goes at western Canada on April 5th, slightly better, and the southeast better too, but still those colder temperatures further north. But during the night on the 6th, still more areas of cold there. Then this goes and does show more cold again in the southeast on the 8th, more spots there. But yeah, stay safe in these temperatures too, and be careful, stay safe.